Hello, everybody. This is Chris, and today I wanted to talk to everyone about the idea of defaulting to action. Being action oriented. I think back to the first lesson that I ever received about the topic in Dr. Lee Manzer back at Oklahoma State University. I remember being in a class with 70 other kids learning marketing for our first time, and this professor looks at us and he said, "Can anybody tell me what this is?" And we're all saying, "Well, that's 2 fingers, or that's about an inch." And he let us, flounder around for a bit. And ultimately he said, "This is the difference between being average and being great. You see, everyone's willing to put in an average amount of effort. That's exactly why we call it average. But the people that are willing to go this much further, just this much, become great." And at 20 years old, I had no idea what that meant. Now, with a few years under me, that shines in a lot brighter context. But the idea is the same, that if we're willing to give everything just that little discretionary effort, just a little bit more of our physical effort, a little bit more of our emotion, a little bit more of our intellect, that we can make a stronger impact on the world and create the one that we want to build. So being active within whatever system you're executing is absolutely mission critical. The idea is, and I think this, whether it's fair or unfair, maybe I'm going to share a little bit of truth, in that from the world's view, and I mean collectively everyone, from the world's view, there's only 2 states of a thing. There's things that are done and there's things that aren't done. There's really no middle. And when we are responsible for activity and it's not done, any reasons for it not to be done, we should consider another form of an excuse. Because as leaders, we can't expect compassion. We can't expect forgiveness. And the idea is to not put ourselves in position where asking for those things is necessary. So that's why we have to default to action. We have to understand what we're responsible for in a day, how that aligns with the impact we want to have, and then go make things happen. Go do it. There's a great link in the write-up there to a few videos, understanding principles of motivation, and this idea that just making things happen is at a courageous leader's core. So I encourage everyone to check those out. But there are some tactics that we can use to stay active and make sure that our efforts are directive. One thing is how we energize. How are we energizing for tomorrow? The sleep that I get today, the exercise that I get today, how I go about nutrition today impacts my results tomorrow. So think about how we energize. Approach every day by orienting for the day, understand what we have to do, and anchor and identify the things we have to do within that day that are really going to advance our purpose forward. There's usually 2 or 3 kind of mission critical things in every day. Wake up and identify. I know they're going to have appropriate effort and focus as I approach them. And, we can get early starts, not waiting to start something. I know a challenge that I often run into is having something to do, a task, and then failing to adequately apply enough time to do it. So if we jump on something early and we say, okay, I'm going to at least get 10% of this done today, the day that it's assigned, now I have some idea of the level of effort that it's going to take to finish it. And in that way, we can avoid overruns and delays. So go ahead and understand when we're at Jump Street and get that early start, and release the idea of perfect. Be okay with accepting imperfect help. When we're delegating or we're asking for assistance, we're not looking for 100% of what we would do. Anything around that 80% mark is going to move the project forward. So be willing to accept that imperfect help. Continue to build confidence through your own learning. Think about intentionally engaging with coaches, with mentors, with books, with classes, anything that you're interested in, you feel like knowledge around would really propel you forward, engage with it. Embrace it. Understand that we've accepted our careers as professionals, and holding that career in regard relies on us continuing to inform ourselves and grow our base of knowledge. And then when we have those big goals, the big initiatives and the large projects, that skill of breaking it into smaller parts so that we can have the right work groups, develop the right work plans. If we just stare at the big thing, it becomes immobilizing. So continuing to break big things down into small pieces that we can adequately address will help us progress and move those projects and initiatives forward. I believe if we do all of these things, we energize the right way, we're oriented, we continue to grow our base of knowledge and break down the large things to the small things, we have a really good shot of winning every day. And then realizing those results of a life well lived. Thanks for spending a little bit of time today. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Let's go win today.